had to hit record because I can always edit, or whoever edits. And I forgot that we put that in. I put that in there. We're talking about Disclosure Day, no?
We are.
But anything we want to talk about as far as the meeting here first, before we start getting into that?
No.
Like what's happening on Saturday with this conscious contact Zoom thing?
Okay, so are you available?
My computer does not do well with Zoom. Never has.
It's not on Zoom. It's on StreamYard.
Okay.
And so we start a little before noon Central Time. And the speakers finish at 6, but then we're doing a 30-minute speaker panel discussion. So
after the presentation themselves.
Right. So it'd be ending at about 6:30 p.m. Central.
And you need me for?
MC, just to introduce each of the speakers, a few minutes, and then you can pop out and do whatever, and then just once an hour come in and introduce. Is that what it is?
Every hour, everybody's doing their thing for an hour?
Yes, about 55 minutes.
All right. I would need, so I have it up on the screen. It doesn't make it look like I'm reading it. Can you send me an outline of the introduction for each person?
Yeah, I will. And I'm gonna shorten their bios, so it's a paragraph for each person.
Is it already set up to all the destinations except for Rumble? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. And
no. We're just recording this. This is a paid event.
Oh, we're just recording.
We're recording it. It's going to be live, and so the link is going to be sent to the ticket holders only.
All right, but wait. This is not a live broadcast. It's a recording that at a later date it will be published as a live event.
No. It's a live broadcast. Okay. And then we're going to make it available.
It's not public
for any time. It's just not open to the public.
It's going to be recorded live, but it's not going to be available to the public unless they pay. This one.
So it's recorded live, so it can be sent to that with a link
to be released at a later date for free. But I think, Margie, weren't you going to put it in the members area?
It's the paid members have free access. The free subscribers and the general public do not. It's $15 a person.
But again, it's not actually going to be going out live on Saturday.
Yes, it is. It is. It's going to be live on Saturday only to the people who registered.
Gotcha. Send me a little info on how you.
One of them is a pre-recorded, so we're going to be showing that presentation pre-recorded.
And how are we going to load that?
Yeah, we can't load it. It's going to have to be from my screen, sharing my screen.
Okay. So can you send me a little short intro of like how you want me to introduce the initial show?
Yeah, she's going to send you.
I'll send you everything.
Yeah, send me everything because
you don't
send us many times, Bill.
You don't have to do shit except.
No, you know me. I'm a person that's like a perfectionist, so I want it to be flawless. You have an intro, an outro for this video?
I'm gonna make one.
Okay, and that's it.
It'll be short.
No breaks.
Oh no.
Okay. Another question before we initially start this thing about Disclosure Day. I seen you sent me the link to Michael Schratt. What is his story? When is he going to record? What's going on?
I've just put that up so that you guys would see that the page is done on the website.
Let me go look.
And because we're going to need an outro, intro, the whole deal.
Got it. I've got everything already done and ready to go. We're just ready. We just need to pick the damn time slot.
Okay. I see the page. That's good.
Bill, we need to get a little more light on you.
Alexa, turn on living room light.
Okay.
Alexa, dim living room light.
Okay.
How's that?
That's better.
All right. So you guys officially want to start like now? And
yeah. Let's do it.
All right, Marky, do it. You take the lead.
Okay. Well, we're here today talking about the movie Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg. And this is the hot topic right now. among everyone. Everybody is discussing this. If you have not seen the movie yet, go see it and then come back here and watch our review. Because spoiler alert, we're probably going to be spilling the beans on a few things. The three of us have seen it, and we're going to talk about our opinions. I am still in shock after seeing it. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask both of you to discuss your thoughts on it. Let's start with you, Bill.
Wait, before we start that, I want to just do from a scale of 1 to 5. What do both of you give it? Starting with Margie, what would you rate it as from 1 to 5?
A 6.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. One of the best movies ever. But I'm coming at this as an experiencer. This movie is for experiencers. It is discussing the real events that happen to experiencers, and it is so darn accurate. So it left me kind of in shock.
Race, what about you?
I think I'm going to give it like an 8. And I'm going to say that based on the fact that there is something in this movie for everybody with an interest that started today or you've been in this for 50 years. There's something in there for all of us. And I've noticed that there's been a lot of negative reviews about it, you know, and my thoughts on that, I'm just going to keep them super simple, super brief. The lead up to the drop of this movie was almost better than the movie. More successful than the movie itself.
You mean like the promotional aspect?
The promotional aspect of this was a diamond level, and it fed everybody so much information that they needed to dream up how they wanted this movie to go. And for all of those people that it didn't go the way they wanted it to go, they're all ticked, pissed, tilted sideways. And they're all out there on social media doing what they've been taught to do for the last 15, 20 years. And that's go run off at the head and speak your piece. And that's good. But for those people who are disgruntled or ticked off about this movie have forgotten one thing, one very vital thing. It's a movie. It's not real. No matter how much real shit they put in it, it's not real. For example, Top Gun. There's real F-18s, F-14s. There's real Navy jets and real Navy pilots doing what they do. But the movie is not real. The story is not real. You can fill it with all the facts and details and ins and outs that you want that are super accurate and super true, but it's still a movie. It's still a movie. And I think that if everybody just fell back and just went back to neutral, went back to zero, and then went back and see it again, which is what I intend to do. And Bill, I think you are too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they'll see it in a different light because, you know, for those of us that have been in this for a long time, for decades, you know, I know how to relate to people that think they've got it all figured out. You know, when you become an investigator, however that happens, you are going to come to meet people that seem to be the most sane and trustworthy and truthful people you could find, salt of the earth folks on the earth that you could find. And then they'll proceed to tell you they've figured out how to track aliens by their urine. Trying to wrap my head around that in the early days of investigation was truly difficult. I'm talking about a Navy pilot with a briefcase full of documents to prove who he was, what he was, where he was. He was a Top Gun pilot. He was a Top Gun instructor. And when this guy retired, he became an independent gold miner. He just like a prospector. And he claims he dug down 40 feet and hit gold slag 40 feet under the ground in this location. And there's no way in the world that slag could have gotten there in our third dimension. He just could not wrap his head around the fact that something had to have melted gold to such a temperature that all the impurities rose to the top and they spilled those out in the ground down there. And this was all untouched ground. None of it had been dug prior, according to him. But in this story, he's telling me and my co-investigator, he proceeds to tell us that it had to be aliens in the fourth dimension and that they were extracting gold and somehow they were slagging it off 40, 50, 60, 80 feet under the ground in some places that they discovered. But he says that alien ships could be sitting on the ground in the park right there beside you and you wouldn't even know it was there. And he had developed this device that could detect their urine when they urinated. And that's how he claimed he could track aliens in his environment. And so that, for an example of people sort of like Daniel and Margaret, you know, these people, they run in every direction looking for help. They don't know who to trust. This is all real. So much of this movie has reality laced all throughout it. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to not find yourself. You know, you guys think, and I'm going to wrap this part of my talk up. You guys think about this. For people that are just coming new to the subject, and then they watch this movie, and then they go look up Rendlesham, they go look up Roswell, they go look up these cases they find in this movie, and they're there, and they're real. What's that going to do to the impression on the movie? It's not a documentary. It's not a expose or anything real. It's a movie. But for these people to be able to go do research on real subject matter, I think is another win-win for this movie.
I agree.
And that's just, you know, because you got two people that are all of a sudden thrust onto each other, and then they're trying to hell, they're trying to survive. I mean, man, they turn up the action in this movie. I've never heard of anything like that happening where people were, you know, driving through the garage and running from the authorities. You know, I've never come across that story yet, but you know, for Hollywood, I thought that was pretty good.
Steven Spielberg, brilliant as always, connecting the dots, the subtle dots. When I say that, I think a lot of people went and think that there's going to be another alien movie with lots of aliens running around. I think people were overhyped on that part because I heard a lot of comments saying it was boring, it was disappointing. Well, then you missed out on all the nuances, everything that's going on in this movie. You need to watch it again. That's why, and you guys know, I made an announcement at the end of the movie saying a lot of the things you see here is referring to actual cases, and it is alluding to disclosure. And this is a possible scenario on how that could look. It's fictionalized, of course, but you all should analyze all the, like you were mentioning, Race, all the different things that are going on in the background, referring to actual cases, even starting with Nixon and Jackie Gleason. And when they said 79 years, I said, that's Roswell. All the little subtle hints and how he brought everything, all the characteristics, everything that we know about this topic. Margie nailed it. It's really, experiences are going to connect to this film. There's just no doubt about it. People that have witnessed stuff. But I'm saying to myself, oh my God, from the get-go, all these little connections, even when he's standing in that circle and the crop circle appears around him, you know, and I'm thinking the consciousness connection.
How many of us would love to have been standing right there when something
God, I was saying out loud in the movie there, wow, And people were looking like, because I know what's going on. They're not catching it. They're not picking up on the things because we are very familiar with the topic, the subject matter.
Right.
But, and then, and like you said, this is a spoiler alert thing, folks. So I would suggest you, it's not just about the government, but they alluded to why they don't provide the information to presidents, so to speak, because they're just civilians for 8 years at the max. So there's like a shadow government that's calling the shots, controlling everything in government, and they don't want this information getting out.
But I don't buy that 8 year thing, because they're still under top secret disclosure protocols. They can't just go run out after they're out of the White House and just start telling everything they know.
No, but that point was that the shadow government doesn't want no one looking.
That's the excuse they use, though.
Right.
We know that because of George Bush telling Bill Clinton, you don't have the need to know.
Right. That's what it is. They need to know.
He was head of the CIA. Good point, Bill.
But also, we hear about how contactees, experiences also have the download. And in this movie, it seems one has one piece to the download and the other has the other piece to the download. But together, they're able to coordinate and get the message across. Because without each other, they're missing that piece, that element. Not only that, and I was freaking out on this movie, and I don't know if you guys caught it. You hear so many people talking about their benevolent experience or a PTSD malevolent experience based on how they were taken or their experience on the ship, so to speak. You had the young girl, calm, relaxed. The boy is freaking out, puts out her hand to calm him down. He's not having a great experience. He's a little traumatic. She's more calm and she's dealing with it better than he is. I was like, oh my God, he's bringing this element in the movie as well. And then there's the religious part where there's a lot of people that are freaking out on that little piece too. The references. I thought one of the best parts of the movie is when the woman kneeled and did the sign and she said, "Don't pray to me." Because she's referring, I'm not a god. I'm not anything special. I'm just a human being having an experience, But you guys know this. They've been demonizing people that are experiencers, saying they're part of a cult. This is a new cult. They're worshiping demons. You know the narrative that's been going on for like the last decade or so.
It's been there since day one.
Yeah, it really has, but it's really starting to come out more and more as time passes by, because you hear people today talking about that. So again, there were so many incredible things going on in the movie. Even I was thinking when they were talking about the animals, like the deer, the elk, whatever, the cardinal. Mike Clellan wrote the book Messengers, the jackrabbit case. So many people have seen and experienced this, even as young children. They appear as something that would make them feel comfortable in the setting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible how you put this. And then making their home a place of comfort, and they're actually on the ship.
Yeah.
And then I could go on and on. You guys know yes, the owls, but I'm saying there was other animals in the movie that were used as well. But when I saw the movie, and like we have a different type of way of looking at it, like other people that are well resourced on this topic matter. We know we've been doing this for a long time. We've heard all the stories. We hear all the angles, experiencers, everything that goes on. The disclosure itself being withheld from the government, for whatever reason. For us, this was an incredible experience. I was in tears at the end of this movie. Literally tears, not crying, but tears, because I couldn't believe how powerful it was at the end. And the way he left it off that way, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. But a lot of people are not picking up on these little nuances. They're new to the topic, but this is, I think, a movie also that sets a precedent as soft disclosure in preparation for the public, for the masses.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot going on in this movie. There's a lot going on in this movie. And I was like, oh my gosh. That's why I must see it again, like Race, what you said. To see if I missed anything in this film.
I have to go back and with a notebook in hand and start making notes because there were so many things in you guys know I'm an experiencer. I have been for my entire life, but it really came to light, 1985 when an extraterrestrial appeared to me and started speaking. And the thing is that my experiences have been 99% positive.
Mm-hmm.
And I firmly believe that the experience is perceived by people in a different way, but it's based on their level of consciousness, their level of vibration. So you have the little boy who's very scared, the girl who's curious, she wants to know what's going on, but she's not freaking out.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at right now. I mean, I see ETs appear in my house, every once in a while, and it does not freak me out anymore.
I've had ones that call me up and tell me. Yeah. I've had it like super excited. Like there was an ET in my room last night. Like really gassed up about it. But Margie, there are so many parallels in this movie to you, to your story.
I've got people.
You both share the same name. You and Margaret. Yeah. You both are from Kansas City. Yeah. You have a place on Pearl Street.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that too. And then when we first talked afterwards about it, after I'd seen it and you said all that, I was like, check. Like that was just super weird. But
and things have coming up recently. My friend Daniel in Kansas, who is a UFO researcher and conspiracy researcher, called me and he says, Margie, this movie's about you. And his name is Daniel. Okay.
Wow.
Look, she in the movie, Margaret is an extreme remote viewer, which I am. But the thing is, another point, it was given to her and given to me by extraterrestrials, that ability. Okay, I've got to go back to the movie to check off these numbers. And people are just, contacting me saying, Margie, is that movie about you? I don't think so. I think it's an extreme coincidence, but there's a lot there. The thing is that there are experiencers like me out there who have a strong connection with interdimensionals and extraterrestrials. And I'm really glad that this was brought forward in this movie so that maybe people who are spouses or, their family and their friends can understand that this person is for real, that these experiences are happening to them.
I got to say, when you said the remote viewing, and it is alluded to, but when that gentleman is using the device and to go into other people in their environment, and he's actually like there physically, they could see him and hear them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my, an OMG. I was OMGing. And then they're alluding to the telepathic connection. They're vast distances away and they can communicate. They can sense each other. I was like, this is unreal. Because another thing too, mathematics is probably the way to go as far as communication. I would think if we're going to try to communicate, I think mathematics is probably the best way to go about it. There's so many things thrown into this movie. I was like, oh my gosh, it makes you think. It definitely makes you think. And I can't say enough about this movie. And I was thinking about you, about what you just said when I'm sitting in the movie. I'm like, oh my God. Now there's some certain details. Race obviously knows you longer about certain things that were going on with the Pearl Street and stuff. But when I saw Kansas City, and I called you right after the movie, and I said, you got to see this movie. It's even in Kansas City, that I was freaking out after I left that movie theater.
Did you notice the name of the TV station? KCXE with the X in it.
Yes. So little clever little things. Like
Yeah.
Another thing too, and I got to ask you, to both of you, this question. And I truly believe he does have prior knowledge, because look at Close Encounters. What do you think Steven Spielberg's connection is to inside people, or people providing as advisors on this film, giving him information? Did you feel any of that he knows somebody, or he's working with some?
He did his research.
Spielberg knows his shit. Okay, he does. He does the work. The creativity used inside these characters was high level. It was super high level, in my opinion. And yes, there is no look. After you saw the movie, Bill, you stood up and made some kind of an announcement in the movie theater.
I did,
which you never do. No one ever does something.
Never
like
did
that.
it before in my life. Never.
And people have come forward on the low. You know what I mean?
They're communicating with Margie, as you know. They're
they're talking to you, right? They're telling you this or that or whatever, and it's it's on the low. But when you make two phenomenal blockbuster movies about extraterrestrials, I can only imagine who's come out of the woodwork to talk to him about what they know. And there is no doubt that a subject this sensitive to so many alphabet agencies, that they all, I'm sure those that are interested knew about this movie coming, and they got a preview of it, and I'm wondering if they ever signed off on it, or that those kinds of things get me. You know what I mean?
I agree. I was thinking the same thing.
Those wonders, because there's no doubt that he has contacts that are probably 100% legitimate, people from, well-placed individuals from very important positions that have told him things and disclosed things to him that, for most of us, I've been in this 35 years. If Philip Corso came out and told the whole story, not just the day after Roswell story, but the whole story he had that was released in a form after his passing by his son, I wouldn't have believed a word the guy said. But he did interviews with Paula Harris, and he literally told her that if I had told people what I knew, all I knew, based on firsthand experience, nobody would have listened to me. It's just not that time yet. He divulged to me when he said that, the way that I took that was simply that the way the government, the way the people that hold this material and hold this truth, this reality, because I'm not sure they know the truth about everything about it yet. They believe that over time, trickle here, trickle there, trickle here, trickle there is the way that disclosure is going to happen. And watching this movie, there's parts of it that are absolutely terrifying, because again, you've got this woman, man, that speaks in a language that only Daniel can understand. And I thought that was so cool, man. Just
right. Exactly.
And then they come to learn later that they were both taken and that they both had things done to them. And like Daniel in mathematics, and
exactly.
These things I've heard these stories about people's health being improved and things physically happening to them being in proximity. And I've also seen cases where people are hurt badly by being in close proximity to these things. The Cash Landrum case, for example.
Even Travis getting hit by the beam.
Yeah, and later sort of, well, I don't want to give the guy credit that told it to him because I don't really care for him
Oh,
much.
I know where you're going with that.
But just the whole rescue mission scenario made more sense to me than them hitting him with a beam to hurt him. It's not like they were out fishing,
No.
waiting, someone's going to see this light like a moth to a flame and they're going to come to it and then we're going to zap them and snatch them and take them off. I don't believe, I don't have any human connection to that, because after all of this that we work in and around is a human connection. It's a human connection. But I just found it fascinating. We're on the subject of how talented Steven Spielberg is. And, if we just try to wrap our heads around the idea that we know enough content based on this movie alone, about an entire screenplay, just like that, all three of us hold everything you saw in that movie right here. We've got it. We've heard it. We've seen it. We've been told it.
Or experienced it.
Or experienced it. Correct. And so, for people who are questioning this movie and its authenticity, they need to hit the road. Go back to the 80s and just enjoy King Kong or, Godzilla or something like that, because you're just never going to get it. You're never going to get it.
You touched on a couple of things, but I got to ask Margie a question afterward. I just want to make a quick comment. You mentioned Taken, people Taken. Spielberg's Taken series was excellent too. I don't know if people are aware of that. You might want to see Taken. That was well done, and that was Spielberg. But also, it also had a moment of, the movie when the world stood still. What was the name? Remember that movie? When the world
from the 50s.
Yeah, or the Keanu remake.
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
That's it. How everybody just stopped when the disclosure was occurring and everybody was seeing and it was being spread worldwide, globally. And everybody just froze and was like, it reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.
Margie, in your role with MUFON and in your location, as Race was mentioning with you earlier, are you getting more people coming forward? Are more people coming forward with reports or talking about their experiences?
Yes, we're getting more reports. We're getting people contacting investigators directly. They're making an effort to do that, and then we ask them to file a report with MUFON. We're getting approached out in public at meetings, and new people are coming to our meetings that we've never seen before, and this is happening across the board. So. Yeah, this is a big awakening. And also, it kind of gives people permission to file a report. They feel like they've been holding something for years, maybe. I know a gentleman in his 90s who just recently filed a report from when he was 10 years old.
Wow.
And never told a soul about it until now. And that movie, along with some other things that have been happening with Pentagon disclosing things, the people are actually saying, I feel like now's the time. I feel like I can talk about this now. And somebody needs to know. So do that. Report cases to MUFON, MUFON.com. Because it will be investigated by an investigator. There are a lot of places you can report something, but nothing is ever going to happen. There's not going to be an investigation. But with MUFON, there is.
And what Margie just referenced, there have been 3 drops in recent months. Go to war.gov/UFO and you'll see the drops. They're right there, what Margie just alluded to. But yes, another question. Do you have any events upcoming that you're participating in Kansas City? Because I'm sure people are going to come up and want to speak with you.
We have a regular meeting in Kansas City with it's a MUFON meeting. However, and our next one is in July, and Debbie Ziegelmeyer is the speaker. We're going to Zoom her in, and we're going to make this kind of a town hall meeting, because people need a place to come in and share their experiences and hear from other people who have had real experiences. So we're either going to do it at that meeting or a separate one, around the same time period. So because Kansas City is our hotspot, Kansas City, and people ask me, why did Spielberg put the film in Kansas City? And I say, it's a UFO hotspot. It is known as a UFO hotspot. It has been for many years. There have been multiple flaps come through this area. And why that is anybody's guess. We have multiple cave systems, especially around Kansas City. Missouri is known as the cave state. We have waterways, large waterways. And I was just recently looking at some of our case files over the years and the locations. Within 3 miles of the Missouri River is where we're seeing UFOs. And UFOs going in and out of water, out of lakes, Blue Springs Lake, Lake of the Ozarks, Lake Jacomo, Lake St. Louis. There's just, a lot of water, but people see lights in the water underneath it. They see UFOs going in and out, fast movers going so fast, you can't see them with the naked eye, but you can see them with video. Okay. That's one of the reasons. I think that's a factor. They're probably underwater bases, and Kansas City and this general area has a lot of water. And that's why you don't see so many in other, like the Plains states. You don't see so many UFOs. There's very few in, say, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, those areas, very few. Kansas, very few. Nebraska, very few. Iowa, we get a little more. Missouri is, always in the top 10 for states in MUFON, even though our population is less than some of the bigger states.
Arkansas is right underneath you, and we don't get the sightings like that. It begs the question, right, on the level of the chicken or the egg. Maybe it was the aliens that said all roads lead to Kansas City first.
Oh my gosh.
But,
yeah.
Throughout the movie, there's this doomsday element, like
yes,
something bad is coming. You know what I mean? And
like a war.
Something seems off on the horizon. Every side being on the right for all their reasons. But I just want to say this, like, we were talking a little bit earlier about the abilities, about how they were manipulated after being abducted. And it reminded me of a story that Linda Moulton Howe told me. She told us all. And I think it was some movie. Maybe it was Mirage Men that she was in, that one, I think, where she talked about being lured onto Kirkland Air Force Base under the guise of tips from military people that a UFO landed on the runway and that security was dispatched to surround it. Aliens, off-world beings come out of the craft and waved this energy around that just vaporized these weapons in their hands, in the airmen's hands. This story was vented to her. She went to Kirkland Air Force Base to talk to these guys. She got on base, was escorted to a certain building. She went in. She was escorted to a room with two-way glass. And there it was revealed to her that there were no witnesses, there was no event, and that they had her there for the specific reason to interview her about her forthcoming documentary on HBO about cattle mutilations. They interviewed her at length in super detail about it, and wanted to know why, an Emmy Award winning investigative journalist was, spending her valuable time on something as whack job as this. And I guess her response really engaged another level of content with their questioning, because that's when Richard Doty came in. And he laid a folder in front of her called Project Garnet, labeled Top Secret Eyes Only. They told her she could read it. She could, and internally take it all in, but no photographs, no notes, no nothing to be made. And inside it, the summary, her summary of it was that thousands of years ago, aliens interacted with the humanoid species here on Earth and genetically modified them. And she said that when she left there, she was overwhelmed with the notion that we could be like 6 billion androids walking the face of the earth. We could all be of genetic manipulation thousands of years down the road. We're not original to what we were when we were created. For me, that was a direct correlation with what was going on in this movie. And then when you think about Bob Lazar, not in the beginning, but later divulged the test that he and his coworker did by putting a candle underneath that emitter, and the candle stopped flickering, but it stayed lit, and it radiated light and it radiated heat, but it was frozen. It was stopped underneath that emitter when they fired up that reactor on that emitter. When you think about that being a reality, investigators and people like us that have researched this are automatically going to connect the 2 points where those of us who have had and those of us who have investigated and researched missing time, right? Because if you have a machine that can focus energy down on an entire house and freeze everybody in the moment, and they can come in and walk around and make iced tea or, take a dump, whatever they want to do, and you're just froze. How many people have woke up and their spouse or whatever is right next to them and they can't get them awake? They just yell, they can shake them, but they're not coming awake because they're frozen. Somehow they have the ability to manipulate, neutralize you from the effect of it. The same thing happened in the Betty and Barney Hill case and so many others. Margie remote viewed an incident that happened with me and Robin one night. Well, not with me. The only part that I played was I woke up with Robin shaking my shoulder, and I turned over and it was dark, and she asked me, "Is my face okay?" And I was like, "What?" And she goes, and she was kind of whimpering, not bawling, crying, but just kind of whimpering, and her eyes were wet. I'm assuming, I couldn't see, but the way she was talking and the way she was physically postured, she said, "Is my face okay, baby?" And so I turned up, sat up, put my feet on the floor, and I looked at her and I said, "Honey, are you all right?" And she goes, "I don't know." And I turned on the light, and Margie will probably remember those pictures we sent her. She had a scab, Bill. It was a scab from here all the way around to here, and it was about that wide. It was a scab, and her eyes were blacked on both sides. Now, we went to bed and she was fine. There's no way in hell she could have gotten a carpet burn, fallen out of the bed, or anything, and it scab over that fast.
Yep.
It can't happen. Not even in a couple of hours. It's going to be raw. Because this was a thick, you could feel it. If you ran your thumb over it, you're going to feel a dry scab. And I took her in there and sat her down. She had a perfect heel print on her right boob. You know the back of a shoe, the heel flat right here and round? It was perfect. Perfect heel print on one boob.
Oh my gosh.
She and I went to bed that night, and when we woke up, she had and it was a black and purple bruise.
Terrible bruises.
I mean, clear black, straight outline, very defined. I'll show you the pictures. I'll go dig them out. But her face, that scab, she has no memory. And now listen, on her side of the bed, there's no nightstand. There's about 18 inches, and then there's the wall.
Wow.
So if she rolled over and fell out of the bed, she's going to hit the wall and the bed. You know what I mean? And it's not going to be a violent fall. It's not super high. But
still, to do that.
It literally looked like carpet burn. Like carpet burn. Like when you rake your elbow across the carpet and it just takes the skin off and then it heals. That's what it was like. But it was perfect around. I just don't get. We have no idea how this happened. And Margie remote viewed it, and she said that Robin was taken. There was a UFO over the top of our house. She was taken. And for whatever reason, when they were bringing her back, they dropped her. And Robin wakes up with pain in her head, and she gets to her feet. She's in bed. She's not on the floor. She's in bed where she was to start with. But then she comes and wakes me up, and something's wrong with her face, and she knows it. She knows something's wrong with her face. There's a door right there where you go into the bathroom and go look in the mirror without having to wake me up or anything. She was so distorted, like not delusional. She was just off in that moment, you know? And when I see this movie, there are so many elements that walk right hand in hand with these values that are unknown to us. And I think Spielberg did a great job in connecting a lot of those dots, you know what I mean? That's why I give it an 8, because for me, there is so much in it that is entertaining for a movie, but there is also so much in it that tells me that Steven Spielberg, man, he does his work. He does a fantastic job of lacing it all together. And I say 2 movies about aliens. He actually was involved with Super 8 as well.
That's right.
And E.T., the extraterrestrial. The man has an interest in the subject. And that makes me wonder if he isn't an experiencer himself.
Never know.
He is. You know, and there seems to be some correlation. You know, the Sistine Chapel, I think it's the Sistine Chapel where God is touching
the finger. Yes.
Yeah. There's something to do with Steven Spielberg and humans touching aliens.
Yes.
There's some sort of, you know, I don't know how to say it. It's just it's something to do with that. It's something to do with God touching us and them touching us. Well, I mean, E.T., of course, the finger, you know what I mean? But like in Super 8, the characters that were touched by that big alien could see and feel and have the same emotions that he had, and that he could channel through you what you saw and what you felt and how you were treated. He knew it. He could feel it, and he knew it. And that, you know, that correlation is something that I would like to ask Steven Spielberg about.
That is a great point.
That connection. I'd like to ask him that question.
That's a great question, because even in Close Encounters, when they go around Richard Dreyfuss' character and the aliens are the grays taking him, grabbing him, and
They're
bringing
just
him.
moving around him. Yeah.
Yes.
And touching him.
Yes.
That's
There's
true.
There's something there. You're right. Now, before we close out, I want to ask both of you this question. You know how when Close Encounters came out, and there's been 50s movies, but it's always negative alien movies, invasion. Close Encounters kind of changed that aspect. Then we have movies like Contact, The Arrival, Interstellar. Do you think this movie is going to set a wave of movies now focused on disclosure?
You go first, Marge.
It's probably going to influence people doing documentaries about real contact. And we've had some come out recently, even before this movie. And it's some very good ones, by the way. So I would say if there's a subject about aliens, go watch it. Because it's probably going to be good. It's probably going to be true. And you know, at the end of Spielberg's last trailer for this movie, he says the words, "This is real," as if he knows. So he does know. I would not be surprised if he's an experiencer, but also in contact with a lot of people, you know, who know, who absolutely know. I think that this is part of disclosure. I wouldn't be surprised if he had been working in coordination with some government agencies, people in the background, planning things, releasing certain files, having the release of this movie. Now, I don't make predictions. I don't like to make predictions, but I have already said this publicly. I believe that right around July 8th, there's going to be a big announcement, and probably by the president. And that's going to happen. And I don't think it's coincidental, because it's right around the anniversary of Roswell, and the release of the newspaper account in Roswell was on July 8th. So, you know, I really feel like it's building up to that, to real disclosure, not just more movies coming out, but real disclosure.
Race?
I agree with Margie. I think it would. There's a couple of things I want to touch on before we go, though.
Okay.
Number one, I'm Catholic, a cradle Catholic. And through all of my Catholic channels that, I follow and that I'm a part of online, there's been a lot of talk about this. There was a sort of anti-Christian sort of connotations in this movie. And it was sacrilegious and this and that. And I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm just here to tell you, I've been a Catholic for 57 years. And I didn't see it. It's not in there.
I didn't see it either.
It's not. What I think, we all have to remember that there are trolls that plant ideas, negative ideas and bad ideas. And they just rear their ugly head every time you see a live video about politics or aliens or UFOs or UAPs or any of this kind of thing, where everyone has an opinion. I'm here to tell you that there's no anti-religious intentions there, because we always hear that we can't disclose UFOs because society would collapse. And that is what's in this movie.
That's right.
These guys in this agency truly believe 100,000% that what they're doing is the way it has to be done. They believe that they're right in what they're doing. But see, in religion, you can't forget one thing. To put limits on God's creative ability is a no-no.
Exactly. Like it's only here on Earth.
We've been on this rock for thousands and thousands of years, and there's thousands and thousands of life forms we have yet to find. Thousands of them that we've never seen before. Thousands.
especially in
Like, you cannot put that kind of a value on a grand creator's ability. So suffice it to say, and it has already been said by the chief astronomer of the Vatican, that if aliens are discovered and found to be real, whether they're from Earth and they live here with us or they're from somewhere else, we have to count them as our brothers and sisters in the creation of God himself, of the grand creator. We can't look at it like it's an abomination, because
this isn't the Spanish Inquisition.
right.
People have to get over it.
One of my greatest interviews that I ever did was with astronaut Story Musgrave. And he told me he literally prayed, because he flew more shuttle missions to the Hubble. I mean, he put the Hubble up there. He maintained it. He took care of it. He flew he piloted more shuttles than any other pilot. He told me when he was up there, he actually prayed for them to come to him. He wanted to see them. And the only thing that he saw was this worm-like object that followed along with him for a while, and then it just went off and went away. He doesn't know if it was a life form or if there was life in it or what it was, or they didn't match any descriptions of any of the parts or scraps or anything that they've seen out there. They had no idea what it was, but he said he had never seen one, had never made contact, but it's a mathematical certainty without any doubt. It's a mathematical certainty that intelligent life exists all throughout the universe. The vastness of the universe, it's impossible for that to not be true.
But here's the thing. I don't mean to interrupt you, but here's the thing, Race. In the movie, and we know about this, this is also another piece of what goes on in this field. This has been a controversial issue. It's not like it's something new when it comes to religion. And the character at the beginning is challenging her own faith. You can't release this information. You can't do it. It's going to change everything about people's faith. Remember that in the movie? That is actually directly challenged people to see that within themselves when it comes to the religious part. Mm-hmm. So that was, to me, brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
It's another point addressed by Spielberg in this movie that was brilliantly done. Yes. And then the last thing, and I'm glad you brought that up, Bill, but the last thing I wanted to bring up before we left was, well, yeah, I'm going to bring this up. Carol Rosin said that she worked with Werner von Braun, and it was established that she did. She also stated that Werner von Braun told her the rich men of the earth, the people that meet at Bilderberg's, meet in secret, that make these plans, a lot of what we see unfolding today. I remember seeing homemade video VHS tapes back in the late 80s, early 90s about this very thing happening today, where it was called a great land grab. It was there were 3 think tanks put together to decide, could America exist in a golden era of peace, and then the world exist in a golden era of peace? Could humans actually live in peace worldwide for ever or any great length of time? And they all came back and said no. And they were all tasked with each one coming up with a scenario that could make that happen. And the 3 examples they gave us that could unite humanity was 1, an asteroid coming at the earth, 2, the environment, and 3, an alien invasion. And I saw this in 89. Mm-hmm. Carol Rosin told me, man, that Werner von Braun, she told us all that Werner von Braun told her that in their plan, the last card was the alien card, that they were going to come out and say that aliens are real and that they are our enemy. Werner von Braun claimed that they were benevolent and that they were peaceful. And Carol Rosin set out on a mission to demilitarized space, no weapons in space. She contacted people in the Russian government, United States, French. She was on this. I can't find her. I can't get her to respond back to me. I've had some other questions when I reach out to her. They were viciously attacked in South America at their home down there, her and her husband, and they survived that and they moved somewhere else. And then, but I've yet to be able to reach her. I hope she's okay. But according to her, there was this plan to make aliens evil and that they were going to invade us. And that would be the breakdown in society's collapse that they needed in order to control us with a one world government, moving everything to a one world order. In this movie, you're going to get all the suggestions and scenarios and examples of what this could be. There's only one thing I after over 35 years of a serious interest in this subject, there's only one thing, and Margie I know is probably going to have something to counter this, and Bill maybe too, but there's just one thing that I can't wrap my human brain around. And I even talked to Stanton Friedman about this, who, gave such a great example of what he thought, but why they stay hidden, why they stay hidden when there's nothing stopping them from hovering over a giant stadium with 80,000 people in it, or however many it holds. I know it's big, but and just making it, there's no question that these things are alive and here. There's no gun, there's no weapon, there's no way anything inside that stadium is going to damage or hurt a craft that landed on the 50-yard line. But with that, there's no question that these things are real. If once they do, I can't figure out why they won't. And then, like Stanton Friedman was like, well, if I picked you up and dropped you in New Guinea or somewhere where there's these tribes that's never seen a white man, how would you feel? If I just picked you up and dropped you right in the middle of a little village, where these people, third world people live, and they have no idea who you are or what you are. They've never even seen white skin before.
Or how to communicate.
I would be, and how to communicate. I would be terrified, but the one thing that I told him was that they've displayed physics beyond our understanding. They've got to be advanced enough to be able to control the environments where they could disclose themselves and not have to worry about getting ran through with a spear. And, he said, you make a good point. He said, but when you think of the galactic environment, these people in this neighborhood are still at each other's throats. We need to let them, kind of
that, or it could be like the Prime Directive. All they're going to do is try to exploit us and our technology and what we know. It could be as simple as that. That you bring up a great point on that.
And then on another level with that, the soul, the spirit, the Holy Trinity, you know what I mean? Like how we have, because like with Margie and remote viewing, the way I look at that is she sends her spirit to places and watches and listens and learns, because the vacuum around us doesn't work the way we think. When we see ghosts, there are investigators who say that is like a repetitive, it's a recording, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And then there are these seemingly spirits or specters that directly communicate with you and that respond back with you.
It's like Margie earlier, consciousness.
In this movie where you see things that are not what they seem, elks and red birds and things like that, it's the same thing in the ghost hunting world. I tell you, I've had friends that hunt ghosts, and I've had friends and myself that have looked into UFOs, and I don't think there's a damn bit of difference between them. I really don't. I think that same veil is the one they move across from.
Dimensional.
That somehow this earth, this world records energies and vibes and things. And, go look. I want to drop a shameless plug here. Go to unexplainednetwork.com, go to unexnetwork.com, and go to the members tab. Folks, go down there and grab yourself a $1.99 membership. It's just $1.99, and you'll get access to the Unex magazine. It is the best unexplained magazine that you'll find. You can get a free digital copy for that $2.99 membership every time they come out. Okay, they're monthly. They come out. You're going to get a digital copy. There is a level of membership. I think it might be $25, Margie, $24.99.
Yeah.
That's the one where you get a printed copy for your coffee table, just like I get.
And then
I have a tough time keeping them, man. Like, people, are you done with this? They want to take it home, and what I mean? But in the June edition, there is, it's the thing I love about this June edition is it's nautical themed. It's around pirates and pirate lore and pirate legends and ghost ships, and it's all unexplained type stuff. In there is a story about a guy sitting on a beach in Miami on spring break, just watching the sun set, listening to the seagulls and the wind and the waves. And right out there in front of him appears a tall ship, like a pirate ship, a tall wooden, tall-sailed ship, just gliding across the horizon there, right across the surface of the water. And then it just vanishes right in front of his eyes. He sees it for a while, and then it just vanishes. These stories in this edition are super compelling and super well done. And I just think people ought to avail themselves. Go grab a membership, because number one, the memberships help us stay on the air. You guys are helping us do what we do for you. And that magazine is a great addition to any coffee table anywhere on this earth, because I'm telling you, I'm not easy. Open Minds, they came out with a super badass magazine years and years ago. Well done, super well done. And the guy that owned it, who owned UFO Congress at the time, sold everything and just went away. And a lady in Arizona bought the conference, and the magazine just disappeared. The only other magazine that we have that can even compare to a very well professionally done periodical is the one that Margie K and her team put together from Unex Media and Unex. And I can't go on and on enough about it. It is super awesome edition every month. And
well, we have to, the 99% of the credit goes to the editor, Maria McKenzie. She's really good with graphics. She's an excellent writer. She will tweak up stories and make them extremely interesting, very detailed. And it's top notch. I am so proud of her.
She has done an amazing
and I will, Lee Spiegel used to be the managing editor. And Lee's part in this, yes, I love Lee. I miss him so much.
You, Lee. We miss you.
Yes,
sometimes I channel Lee when I'm doing editing. I can hear him say, "Oh, hey, there's no comma there," or something like that.
I don't know
so
if I
funny.
can make that out, but that's his little doll that one of his listeners to the Edge of Reality radio show made him back in the 80s. It's a piece of folk art, and his wife graciously sent it to me because he told her, he wanted me to have it if he passed. You know what I mean? And I told him that back when I very first met him, and he showed it to me. I was like, Lee, when you go on to glory, bro, you got to leave that to me. And he did. That's just the way he would. But I miss him so much. But Maria, he would be super proud of her.
But Maria, she's taking it. See, I don't have to edit anything anymore.
You know, like
she does it all.
Letter to the editor, right? Letter to the editor, Margie, that used to have it out. It was, I forget how it was titled. At Anchor with the editor. And I just thought that was brilliant. I was like, golly, she themed it. You know, in the pirate theme, in a nautical theme. But she, you know, she did a really like the letter to the editor at Anchor, you know, words with the editor. Read that part, man, because I was expecting something kind of paranormal or something, and it's something totally different, but something we all could use, something we all could benefit from. And man, I'm just so proud of this periodical, folks. The Unex magazine from Unex Media Publishing, from the Unexplained Network. Do yourself a favor and go get you a membership, and do us a favor. Go get a membership, but you're going to get a copy of that magazine every time it comes out, and you'll be super impressed with it. So
I also want to add this for those that watch this, give us your opinions, send us your comments. We'd like to hear what you thought about the movie. What did you think? You know, give the best way to message us would be unxradio@gmail.com. Margie, what's the best way people could reach out to the three of us?
KUNXradio@gmail.com.
KUNX,
which I'm going to change to KCXE.
That's funny.
You know, real quickly, I would say this could, you know, we could call this a guide for new people to the topic, this movie. All of the cases that I saw were real. All of the suggestions about tomorrow in this movie, I think, are legit. Could this be a movie that could perhaps be a bridge between the civilians and the three-letter agencies? You know what I mean? Because working together would advance us far better, would it not?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
There's also those elements in it. There's just so much in this movie that make it worth $9 or $6.50 or whatever it costs wherever you are. I'm going
13.
I'm going again.
I'm going back.
I am going again. Yeah. As a group of 8 of us went, and we're probably all going to go together again. It's awesome.
Spielberg, if you just so happen to fall upon this little podcast we did, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done, for all you've done, for your creativity, your honesty, your talents. I appreciate everything you've done in every project you've done. I've really been impressed by just about every one of them all along the way. And, you know, you are among the greatest of our generation. So, you know, on behalf of myself and this network, I appreciate everything you've done, and you did a fantastic job on Disclosure Day. I really enjoyed it.
Agreed.
Indeed. I guess we better wrap this one up because we're over time anyway. So I'll see you again next week.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
What a great staff meeting.
Ha ha ha.